Okay, so what we're going to do in this tutorial is start creating our run. I'm going to do it a little bit different than just dragging it in. I'm going to show you another way. So if you right click in here and you go to create state empty, we can actually create an empty state here. And I'm just going to call this run. Oops, let's get rid of the new state here. And I'm going to add a new input, and I'm going to make this a boolean. Now before, you had to either go 0.1 or higher. With a boolean, you can check it on and off. So I'm just going to name this run. Alright, so another way of loading an emotion is clicking here and make sure that you go to assets, and I'm just going to look for the Leo run. So there's a couple of different run animations I made. There we go, Leo at run. Alright, now let's just make sure in my models folder that I have my characters, playable characters, Leo, anims, Leo at run. Let me just make sure that's set to humanoid and that the animations are baked out, which they are. And we can set this as default and press play to make sure that that plays okay. And it looks like it does. Let's go back and set our idle as default. Alright, so let's do the same thing we did before. I'm going to set my run up here, and I'm going to make a transition to here, and I'm going to select that. Ooh, I'm sorry. Let's move our run down here and make a transition from our idle to our run, and let's select this. Again, same deal, V input. Now we're going from an idle to a run, right? So we want to make sure that it's greater than 0.1. And so we want to check that. As long as it's greater than 0.1, it'll go into a run. Cool. Let's go back from our run to our idle, again by right-clicking, going to make transition. And we want to do V input is less than 0.1. Same deal, as long as it's less than 0.1, he'll go from a run to an idle. Now let's go ahead and let's change this around a little bit. Let's just make this walk. Because what we want to say is, as long as we're not walking, we're not running. So let's go ahead and add an input here. So I'm going to hit plus, and we're going to say, as long as we're not walking or idling, we won't go to a run. So let's go ahead and make this walk, and let's set this to false. Okay, so now I want to go from run to walk. So I'm going to right click, make a transition, select this, and the only thing I'm really going to set up here is walk equals true. Because if I'm already in a run state, I want to double check that the walk is true. So you can see just by creating that transition, it added a run to walk here. So you can see I'm running, and then it breaks into a walk here, which is kind of cool. Alright, and as you probably guessed, we still need to transition back from walk to run. Let me select that. And I'm going to go ahead and say that it's already set from walk to run. I want to turn walk off to false. And let's check that out. Walk to run. And it's kind of a nice smooth transition between the walk and the run here. Alright, so let's test all of this. I'm going to go ahead and press play. And let's watch our character idle. Now if I make my V input 1, you can see he runs. So let's make this 0 again. He's way off into space. Let's hit F to focus. I'm going to go ahead and check on walk. You can see now he walks. So it's a nice smooth transition between each one. And we can make this 0 to bring him back down to idle. Now, like I said before, this is a state machine. So it's really just about controlling transitions between states. The way you control all of this is through scripting. We still have a few other animations we need to set up for our Leo character before we can truly start to script him.